It is a picture-perfect weather night for baseball here in Cincinnati as the Reds, who saw their lead in the Central Division drop to 2 last night, try to push it back to 3 tonight in the second game of this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hi, and a pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Couch, along with our cowboy, Jeff Brantley. Welcome to Reds baseball here at Great American Ballpark. Well, as you mentioned, the Reds did lose the first game of the series last night, meaning they've now lost 2 in a row, and they try to avoid pushing that losing streak to 3 straight games. So what do? They turn to their stopper, Johnny Cueto, who Cowboy last time out was pretty good. His last 4 starts have been not what we're used to seeing, so let's take a look at those things and begin with start the last time out.
Well, the last time out for Johnny, he faced the same exact team that he's facing tonight. He threw the ball really well, even though it was in a losing effort. He lost 2-1. But the thing about Johnny Cueto, every time out, it has been a tough battle. The last 4 starts for Cueto have either been right on or they've been off a little bit. A lot of it has to do with mechanics. I think if Johnny gets the mechanics right tonight, that big turn that you see from Cueto and driving the ball straight to home plate and not falling off to the first base side, then we're going to see the Johnny Cueto that we're used to seeing, and that is a winning Johnny Cueto, and the Reds need that in the worst way.
Well, from a pitching standpoint, of course, this Pirate team has been living and dying with both starting and relief pitching, and they've been good in both categories, but particularly since May the 25th.
Well, I think you're looking at a club that really mirrors somewhat of the Cincinnati Reds. When they pitch well, they give their team a chance to win. They get a chance to win, they hit in clutch situations. We saw that last night. Anytime that they can put some runs on the board, this is a club that can beat you. That's the one thing that Cueto has got to do tonight, is keep these guys off. They're facing a young pitcher in Brad Lincoln. He's got a few starts under his belt last year. He's won his last 2 starts, one of those being against the Reds in 2011, and he won his last start 5 days ago against the Miami Marlins. He was only supposed to go 60 pitches, Jim, and he ended up at 80 pitches and 6 innings.
Well, he replaces Charlie Morton in the rotation, and whoever's out there, they're going to have to face the hottest hitter in baseball, Joey Votto of the Reds.
It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
No long sleeves needed tonight. This is a short sleeve evening here at Great American Ballpark. Weather perfect. As you can see, nary a cloud in the sky for the second game of this three-game series. And talking weather, let's take a look at the weather report for tonight's game, brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. And check in with Tim Hedrick from WKRC.
My older brother, Douglas Loyal Hedrick, was the slowest pitcher in the Pony Leagues, but he had a knuckle curve. And when that ball came at you, it went like this. He was no Aroldis Chapman. 72 first pitch, 69 halfway home, heading home about 66. It looks like a great evening for a ball game. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Always something special with Tim Hedrick. All right, Joey Votto, Cowboy, one of the best, if not the best hitter going in the National League.
When you watch Joey Votto, just take a look at his hands. He looks like he's cutting up the baseball like a samurai warrior, slicing it this way, cutting it that way. He has some of the most incredible swings at pitches, and yet still able to drive the ball with authority. An emergency swing here, a power swing there. He is a hitter and a pitcher's nightmare.
See those numbers of Joey Votto, and he has that 11-game hitting streak going, and he is clearly, as I said, not only one of the best in the Nationals, but certainly one of the best in the major leagues. Coming up tonight, the Reds send their ace to the hill. Johnny Cueto looking for victory, number 6. By the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year by Cincinnati, USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com and by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Concourse here at Great American Ballpark as the folks flood from there to here, the seats, and get ready for the second game, the middle game of this three-game set, the Reds and the Pirates. Let's take a look at Clint Hurdle's lineup tonight, brought to you by your AXA advisors. Alex Presley leading off, second day in a row. Neil Walker and Andrew McCutchen. Then the cleanup man, Garrett Jones, Matt Haig, and Casey McGee, followed by Rod Barajas. Clint Barmas, the offensive star of all things, in the 8th spot last night. And the pitcher is Brad Lincoln. On the mound for the Reds, the right-hander Johnny Cueto, and you take a look at his stats, courtesy of Jose Cuervo.
Cueto needs to get back on his everyday routine. Not every other day, but every day. And this is the perfect team for him. He pitches awfully well against the Pirates.
Career-wise, he has a record of 11-4 against Pittsburgh with a 2.55 ERA. That is in 17 starts through his career. This year, he's made 2 starts against them, 1-1. That was the complete game. Lost his last time out 2-1. He works here to Alex Presley to get this game started. First pitch low, and we are underway from GABP. Alex Presley just called up from AAA Indianapolis yesterday. Had a pair of hits last night, including a home run in the 6th inning. It was his 3rd of the year. He was their opening day left fielder. Ultimately went down to Indianapolis. Played 18 games down there, hit .277, and replaced Gorkys Hernandez on their roster yesterday. And now he gets himself a leadoff base hit into right to get the game started. Take a look at the Reds defensively behind Cueto, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Ludwig, Heisey, and Bruce in the outfield. Heisey making his 4th start in center tonight. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto the infield. Hannigan catches Cueto for the 12th straight start. You notice the absence of Drew Stubbs in center. Stubbs is not on the DL, Cowboy, but hurting a little bit in the oblique area. But they're quick to say that it's not an oblique strain, but in that area. Here's Neil Walker.
Now the big thing for Cueto is to get the ball down in the strike zone and keep it there. That's where he's had his difficulty when he's had the off ball games, when we're talking about every other game. When he's down, he's awfully tough. And that last pitch to Presley was up. That's why it was ripped into right field.
Neil Walker, a home run last night. It was his 3rd of the year. All have come from this side of the plate. He's a switch hitter. See, he's been hitting the ball very well as of late. In fact, even better than that. 5 out of 10 in his last 2 games. Had a very good road trip, of which this is game number 5 of 6 for the Pirates. They took 2 out of 3 up in Milwaukee.
Alex Presley definitely has some speed. We saw it in the triple last night. He hit a ball that went all the way to the fence in right field, and Jay Bruce expecting him to stop at a double. He was on 3rd base by the time the ball got back in.
Presley, the owner of 3 stolen bases this year with this team. There's a strike 3 on a swing and a miss, and Neil Walker disposed of for out number 1.
And that's the pitch there that Johnny wanted against Alex Presley. It just stayed up a little bit, and it was put into play. Watch this slider go straight down. If you're looking fastball, and you almost have to with the velocity that Cueto has and the ability that he has to locate the ball down and into left-hander, you almost have to cheat a little bit. And when you cheat, you look like that.
Outfield straight away now for Andrew McCutchen. Last night a hit in 5. It was a 1st inning single. Johnny pours a strike in there. McCutchen at .333 with 9 home runs. He's driven in 30. The .333 still has him in the middle of the pack in terms of National League batting average at number 5, right behind the Reds' Joey Votto, who's at number 4 at .350.
Well, you can really see both left fielder Ryan Ludwig and center fielder Chris Heisey continuing to put their gloves up in front of their face. You can see all of the sun that kind of rainbows out between the left field corner as it comes across the field.
McCutchen didn't catch up with that one, and now he's down 2 strikes.
When you've got this much sunlight coming all the way out, anything that's out in this area here is going to be difficult to judge, not only how hard the ball is hit, but to just see it in general.
Kind of reminds you, doesn't it, of a playoff atmosphere when the early start times during the postseason, you see a lot of this kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. It's tough not only on the outfielders, but it's also tough on the batters.
Mentioned last night, but it does bear repeating that the Reds have had a decent amount of success against Andrew McCutchen. You see the numbers against Cueto individually, and he has 3 home runs against him. But this year, only 4 hits and 19 at bats for McCutchen against Cincinnati pitching. Reds trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak. They've had one of those this year. That was in the series against the Washington Nationals, their first road trip. They lost the first 3 games before winning the finale of that 4-game set. Haven't lost 3 in a row other than that all year.
You were talking about McCutchen. There's been so much talk in Pittsburgh about this guy being a 30-30 player.
And he's a strikeout victim here. So back-to-back Ks by Cueto.
For Andrew McCutchen to be a 30-30 player, he's got to be able to pull the ball to hit the ball out of the ballpark. In order to pull it, that pitch right there, you've got to get out in front in a hurry. Watch Cueto. He is locked in on the target. Even with the big turn and the drive to home plate, that's what we want to see out of Johnny Cueto all night long. That ball is right down in the kneecap, hit right in the mitt.
Well, the leadoff single followed up by a pair of strikeouts, and now it's the cleanup hitter of the Bucks, Garrett Jones, their right fielder. Comes in at 240, 7 and 17 his power numbers.
You could really see the movement right now of the fastball of Johnny Cueto. That ball started at the hands of Garrett Jones and just exploded up and away.
Jones had a hit last night, so he's hitting a modest 4 in a row. Johnny getting a lot of early swings and misses here, Cowboy.
Well, as I was saying, it's very difficult to pick up the ball with the way the sun is shining off the batter's eye in dead center field. There's a little bit of glare out there, not only for the outfielders, but also for the hitter. But then again, Cueto is keeping the ball down in the bottom of the strike zone.
Keeps an eye on Presley and now throws over there. Six stolen bases in the game here last night, 3 on each side. That's odd coming from 2 teams that really haven't done much base running this year in terms of steals.
Well, the Reds did not do a good job of holding on the base runners to begin with.
Pops away, but Hannigan remains there to find that ball.
I think that's one of the reasons you're seeing the throwovers early from Cueto. As a pitcher with anyone at first base, you've got to at least make them realize that you know they're there and you can't forget about them. I mean, it was not the guys stealing bases for the Pirates last night that had the speed. We're talking about guys down in the lineup.
One of them was this guy, Garrett Jones. Matt Haig, another one who doesn't have great speed at all.
When those guys are stealing bases, you're not paying attention.
Toward the middle, cheating that way, Kozart steps on the bag. Presley gone, and so are the Pirates. A hit and a man stranded. 1/2 complete. No score. Here's the lineup that Dusty Baker sends out tonight, brought to you by your AXA advisors. Zach Cozart, Chris Heisey at number 2, then Joey Votto, Phillips, Bruce, and Frazier in the middle. Ryan Ludwig to start in left. Hannigan catches, Cueto pitches, and bats ninth. And on the mound is the right-hander Brad Lincoln. His numbers, courtesy of Jose Cuervo.
Lincoln has been in the bullpen the majority of the year. Got a start last week against the Miami Marlins. As I said, he was only supposed to throw 60 pitches. He went 6 innings, threw 80 pitches, and threw the ball very well. It was a winning start.
He has a 3-2 win by Pittsburgh over the Marlins. This guy, like we talk a lot about, Cowboy, starter in the minor leagues, brought up here as a reliever, but pressed into duty in this start today due to the injury of Charlie Morton. Cozart pops it up, and it's handled by the shortstop Barmas for out number 1. Behind Brad Lincoln, the Pirates line up like this, courtesy of your Ford dealers: Presley, McCutchen, and Garrett Jones. Infield, McGee again over at third, Barmas at short, Walker and Haig on the right side. Rod Barajas, he has started 5 in a row now against the Reds. Lincoln on the mound. Good look at the sun/moon deck out in right. A little bit of both right now. Heisey takes a strike at the knees. There's that sun that Cowboy was talking about.
And you can see both Presley and Andrew McCutchen. They keep putting their gloves up, making sure they can see the ball.
Heisey making his 4th start in center field this year, 35th in his career, and we'll reiterate the fact that Drew Stubbs is not on the disabled list, but did leave the game last night. And when he did, we wondered whether it was injury related or simply Dusty wanting to get Wilson Valdez some time in center field. And we'll take a look at the pitch in which he may have injured himself. There you see him grabbing that. That's I guess around the side there in the oblique area, right, Jeff?
It is. It's the oblique area. It could be an intercostal muscle, which is just in between the rib cage area. All of those work together in one fashion or form. And when you reach out like that and you make contact, all of that torque from the ball hitting the bat comes all the way back to that one area, and that's the lower part of your back.
Drew said before the game, and Dusty reiterated the fact that they hope not to put him on the disabled list, give him 2 or 3 days and hope that it responds well to treatment, and then get him slowly but surely back into the swing of things. Paul Lassard on the right there of Stubbs, your left as you look at it, and there's Drew talking about it with tonight's starting pitcher. Lincoln a little uncomfortably settles under that ball and makes the catch of the pop-up by Heisey for out number 2. So Stubbs is not on the DL, but Heisey gets the start in center. But there was a move made today by the Reds, a transaction. One player coming up, another player going down. Young man who will make his big league debut when he steps on the field here tonight or whenever he makes it is Christopher Negron. He was recalled from AAA Louisville. They were in Syracuse, New York, playing in a series there. Mike Costanzo has optioned back down. Mike has been here just shy of a month, and well, you kind of feel for the guy. He really struggled up here in terms of batting. There's a good look at Negron, who I guess like Wilson Valdez, like Miguel Cairo, a utility sort of player, right, Cowboy?
Well, he's a middle infielder by trade, and I think he's one of those types of players that can play anywhere. He's a good athlete. They've used him all over the place throughout his minor league career. But the one thing about it is he's got good speed, and you can use him anywhere and feel comfortable.
Votto with 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 men out and nobody on. Now we will make the point about Negron because I know you're thinking that, and that is, can the guy hit? Well, he's not been the best of hitters in his career. He's a .250 career minor league hitter and was hitting .212 this year. But they are really going through a tough time injury-wise down in Louisville this year, and Dusty said that David Bell said this is the best guy we have for you right now.
And that's one of those things where the statistics don't really tell the whole story. I mean, what you want is a guy that is hot right now, regardless of what his overall numbers are. And that's why Chris Negron has come to the big leagues.
Slowly toward the right side, and the first baseman will scoop it up and step on. That's Matt Haig. So Votto is out, and the Reds go in order in the first against Brad Lincoln. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. These are intriguing numbers, Cowboy.
Well, they really are, and you could hear the other night when Tom Brennan and I were talking to Joe Morgan. Those home runs are all fine and good, but you're not going to beat #1 starters unless you can put the ball in play with regularity and beat a team without hitting a home run. And we saw evidence of that last night. Burnett was on his game, and so was the bullpen for the Pirates. They kept the ball down. They did not give up a home run, and the Reds had some difficulty. Got to be able to manufacture runs whenever you're playing tough pitching teams.
Fielding his position deftly is Cueto, and he will throw out Matt Haig to get the top of the second started. And really, to stretch that point a little bit further that you're making, is that this Reds team in the past has been that kind of a ball club.
They really have, and they have come a long way from the beginning of the season to where they are now, as far as more quality at bats, more at bats that are extended to the 5 or 6 pitch at bat instead of just swinging at the first 2 pitches and then you're out and you get to see no pitch.
Here's Casey McGee. Makes his 3rd straight start over at third base. Last night, 2 out of 3. RBI single in the 2nd. Solo home run in the 5th. It was his first home run as a Pirate. Really struggled in the month of May, and they're trying to get him jump started here in the 3rd month of the season. The former Milwaukee Brewer. They can use him at either corner position. He was a third baseman at Milwaukee. They ideally have Pedro Alvarez here, but boy, he really has been struggling. Alvarez in an 0 for 18 drought, and so McGee getting a chance to man the hot corner.
Well, Alvarez has just been in between. They want him to be more aggressive. He feels like he needs to be more patient. And boy, when you are stuck in that area, you are between a rock and a hard place.
Now McGee will see a full count pitch with 1 out here in the top of number 2.
That last pitch was about as good as a hard running sinker as you're going to see. That ball almost hit McGee, and he still swung.
Toward the middle, it misses the base. Phillips, the Gold Glover, makes the play. And another one on the receiving end. Votto scoops it out of the dirt, and there are 2 men out. One Gold Glover to another, both coming through big time right there.
This play here should make you understand, as a Cincinnati Reds pitcher, keep the ball down, keep it on the ground, and let these guys go to work. You're not going to see better defense than that.
That was something special right there, Phillips to Votto. So 2 out and 5 in a row since the leadoff hit by Presley, retired by Cueto, and he deals now with the catcher, Rod Barajas. Barajas hitting .234, 5 homers, 11 runs batted in.
Boy, every time he comes to the plate, Barajas, you get the feeling watching him start his swing, the only thing he's thinking about is lift and separate.
He has the 5 home runs this year, and 4 of them, not surprisingly, have come away from PNC Park.
Ouch.
On the grass, Frazier. Cueto has himself a 1-2-3 frame. He has set down 6 in a row. Scoreless, middle of the second here in Cincinnati. Time moment of the evening, a little bit later on, brought to you by Miller Lite. Hey, Reds fans, if a player hits the Toyota Tundra sign here at the ballpark in tonight's game, there you see it out in right center field. James Economo of Cincinnati will drive away a 2012 Prius. Win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. James Economo drives a 2012 Prius now, hopes to win the Tundra on display here at the ballpark. All right, Phillips leads it off in the bottom of the second against the right-hander Brad Lincoln.
Ho-ho!
Toward the Toyota sign, way back and gone. Disappears into the seats right in front of the PNC Power Stats. Home run number 6 for Brandon Phillips.
Look for that fastball out over the plate. And even though this pitch appeared to be down, Brandon Phillips likes the ball down. And he just hammered that baby.
Brandon Phillips is safe at home, safe and secure.
New York Live.
Indeed. Interesting note on the front of the Reds game notes today. That home run now by Brandon Phillips. There has been a home run hit in each of the last 52 games here at Great American Ballpark, dating back to the last homerless game. That came against the Giants here last year on the 29th of July. The longest active ballpark homer streak in the big leagues, and the longest home run streak in Great American Ballpark history continues now at 52 games.
Watch Phillips tomahawking that bat. Got a good fastball, and you see where the pitch is. It is down, but it's in the middle of the plate, and a good pitch to some hitters, not necessarily a good pitch to others.
And our Performance Honda Exmo look at Brandon Phillips' swing. Brandon, for the first time in his 1,089 game major league career, struck out 4 times last night. Starts to make up for it tonight with a second inning long ball.
You see where that pitch was to Jay Bruce. That was a good fastball that was down and in, and he ends up striking out looking. If you're on the other side, if you're Brandon Phillips, that's a good pitch for you to hit hard. Everybody's different.
Frazier with 1 in, 1 out. Hitting .269, 6 home runs, driven in 15. 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly last night. Frazier making his 20th start at third base since the DLing of Scott Rowland. And speaking of the former Gold Glover and all-star third baseman of the Reds, Scott Rowland, he took batting practice today for the first time on the field. He had done some flip swings down in the cage, I guess, yesterday, and had taken some ground balls yesterday, but he was out on the field today taking BP. Here's a look.
Well, I think anytime that Scott Rowland is in the cage and taking swings, then you know he is on the verge of making his way back to his normal position, which would be at third base.
What did he say? I can see the end of the tunnel now. Is it playable? Haig is over there, but he can't get it. So you await the return of Scott Rowland, who's been out now almost a month. And what you really hope for, Cowboy, is when he does come back, and he was asked yesterday, do you think it'll be before the end of the homestand? He was very non-committal on that. But when he does return, that he doesn't play another month to 6 weeks and the same thing flare up again. To right and sinking in a hurry, and that's a base hit for Frazier.
Well, I think what the Reds have seen now is the fact that Frazier can play third base, and that's the big thing that I don't think you have to worry about it so much. And you watch Frazier, and even though that's not a great swing, it's a productive swing. It got a base hit, and he's done well at third base. He's driven the ball out of the ballpark. He's given the Reds some hope over there at third base. Now you don't have to rely so much on playing Scott Rowland every single day.
Well, you make a good point there, because even though he came into this season, the idea was 100, 120 games or so, he played a lot early on. McCutchen settles under this ball hit by Ludwig. That's out number 2. Mark your calendars for June 12th through the 14th and get to Great American Ballpark to cheer on the Reds when they take on the Cleveland Indians, presented by the Ohio Lottery. On Wednesday, June the 13th, arrive early. Be one of the first 10,000 fans through the gates. You'll receive a Brandon Phillips Louisville Slugger Silver Slugger mini bat. For tickets to see the Reds and the Indians June 12th through the 14th, call 888-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or go to reds.com. First of that Governor's Cup Series. 3 here in Cincinnati come up next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I think going back to the Scott Rowland issue, what the Reds have got to understand is that when they give Rowland a day off, let's say a day game after a night game, that's what they talked about doing earlier. It's got to be a day off. It can't be a day where in the 5th inning you bring him in and double switch and then he plays the rest of the game. That's not a day off. And I think now that they've got Todd Frazier in the spot where he's at, you don't have to make so many trips and switches and turns and flips. You let the guy play third base and you give Rowland that full day off. That's the only way you're going to be able to keep him healthy for the remainder of the year.
So are you also discounting the possibility then of him pinch hitting, say, in the 9th inning? Or
pinch hitting in the 9th inning is fine.
Okay.
But playing in the 5th inning and playing the rest of the game, that's not a day off.
Ball and 2 strikes to Hannigan. A runner on, 2 out. A run in on the home run by Phillips.
I think the bottom line is you've got to give that left arm as much rest as possible from now until the end of October. And hopefully you get to the end of October.
Frazier's going. And a ball sliced down the right field side and out of play. We'll take a look if we get a chance at Frazier's lead, because you'll notice what he's doing over there now is exactly what Brandon Phillips does in terms of how he leads off. Never seen anybody do it before Brandon. And I think he's kind of showing some of these younger guys the advantage of that.
Well, I think what Phillips is doing by showing them that the way that they step off of the bag and almost facing second base as they take their lead, it gives them that extra quick step as they take off on a ball that's batted.
It's as if they have turned already and taken that first half step, getting that out of the way before they have to move.
A lot of guys will shuffle out and almost fully face the third baseline and be square with the third baseline. What Brandon is doing and what he's showing Todd Frazier here is you've almost got your left shoulder towards that third baseline and your body is facing second base, or the center of your body is facing second base.
And he draws a throw. Anything to save a little bit of time, any amount of time, is an excellent.
Well, how many times have we seen in any play, in any game, bang, bang, the guy's out or safe, and it could mean the difference in a ball game? A lot. It happens every day.
Not going on this 2-2 pitch, which goes over the head of Hannigan. He goes down, dips low, the ball sailed right over his head.
Curveball comes out of the hand a little bit early from the right-hander Lincoln. You've got to remember that the last time Lincoln pitched, only supposed to be 60, he went 80. And this is a guy that's been pitching maybe 1 or 2 innings all year long until 5 days ago.
Strike 3 called. Hannigan is out. Inning comes to an end, but the home run by Brandon Phillips, his 6th of the year, has given the Reds the second inning lead. check out Sam Amico's daily rumor sheet as we head into the NBA draft later this month. And don't forget, you can chat about tonight's game right here, right now, with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. It's all on FoxSportsOhio.com. Hall of Famer in the press box here at Great American Ballpark, Hal McCoy. Johnny Cueto in the third deals with 8, 9, and 1. That means Clint Barmas, then the pitcher Brad Lincoln, and Alex Presley. Barmas, a big offensive night last night. Pops up the second pitch he sees here. Ozart handles it for out number 1. Batter now will be the pitcher Brad Lincoln.
You know, we had talked about Lincoln and his last start, and to be honest with you, speaking with Clint Hurdle, he almost made it sound like his last start came 5 days ago. Well, it didn't. It came on May 14th. And the way he was talking about this kid, it was almost as though he had made the start not even a couple of days ago. But evidently he was very happy with the way he threw the ball in that start. So he's had quite a few appearances since then.
He bats left, although he throws right. At the plate this year, 1 for 4. Lincoln actually started the year at AAA Indianapolis, made a couple of starts down there before being promoted to the Pirates on the 18th of April. At that time, he replaced the injured Jeff Karstens, who went on the DL with right shoulder inflammation and in fact is still on the Pirate DL. Made the start that the Cowboy talked about at Miami on the 14th of May. Quality start. 2 runs, 4 hits in 6 innings with a former first-round pick by the Pirates back in '06. Then went back to their bullpen, where he has made 6 relief appearances leading up to tonight's start. Well, he starts in place of Charlie Morton, who went on the disabled list with right elbow inflammation.
Boy, Johnny Cueto has really helped himself being balanced here. See where that line is? No lean back, no turnover, and as he comes towards the plate, he is coming directly towards home plate. And then after release, the body may slide towards first baseline. That's okay. But right now, he is under control mechanically, and we're seeing the difference.
So Presley bats with 2 men out. We invite you to come for the Reds. Stay for more fun. Visit Mighty Mike at Newport Aquarium, the biggest gator in the country. Make it a weekend getaway. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. Cueto gets it and fires in a hurry out at Presley. So since a leadoff single by Presley, 9 in a row by Johnny Cueto. here at Great American Ballpark. You can stop by the Fan Zone pregame for Free Agent Fridays. Enjoy drink specials, music, and more. Stick around after the game. Then for a post-game fireworks featuring a Motor City soundtrack thanks to KOI Auto Parts. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. 5th of 5 Kid Glove Nights here at the ballpark is tonight. It's the final one of the season. Last night, over 5,400 youngsters via the Kid Glove tickets. It all wraps up here tonight. They root on their Reds.
You look at that 1 for 19 for Cueto, but he has 6 sacrifice bunts, which is tied for the lead on this club. And that's really what you want your pitcher to be able to do. Cueto can not only pitch, fields his position, and he's able to put down bunts. Check out Johnny Cueto on the speedster Alex Presley. Quick to the baseball, set your feet before you catch the ball and throw a bullet to first base. That's how you get it done. Not only do the infielders and outfielders have to know the speed at home plate, but the pitcher as well in case of a bunt or a high hopper in that situation.
Johnny strikes out, so that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Well, tonight's Powerball jackpot worth $177 million. The drawing is at 11 p.m. tonight. Powerball jackpot worth $177 million. That's different than last night. Last night was Mega Million. Tonight, Powerball.
I was going to say that thing jumped from 11 to 177.
I could tell by the look on your face.
Kind of scared the old boy.
You wanted to run out of here and go buy yourself a ticket. Final thought on that Kid Glove game tonight, the final one of the year. Tonight, prior to the contest, Kid Glove game chairman Paul Kramer was honored down on the field. Armas makes the play here. Mr. Kramer has been on the Kid Glove game committee for 45 years and has served as executive secretary of the Kid Glove game program for the past 29 years. And there's Mr. Paul Kramer throwing out the ceremonial first pitch with newcomer Christopher Negron. That, by the way, is what he wants to be known as, Christopher. So we'll make sure that we remember that. 2 out for Chris Heisey. Popped on to the pitcher his first time. This in the series, 1 out of 6. Cardinals in action again tonight. They're down at Houston. That game will start in about 10 minutes. They had 4 runs in the 9th last night. Houston hung on and won 9-8, keeping the Reds 3 games ahead of St. Louis. So now this Pirate team, sole possession of second place, 2 behind the Reds.
Well, ever since Lance Berkman went on the disabled list, that Cardinal team has not played nearly as well as they did earlier.
Final game of this series is a night game again here tomorrow night. Mike Leake will go against the right-hander Kevin Correa. It starts at 7:10. That means Reds Live gets everything going at 6:30. Heisey takes strike 3, disagrees with a call of one Mike Buchlinski. The Reds go in order. Get ready for Reds action. That's 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live has everything a Reds fan will need to get ready for the game, and brought to you exclusively here on the home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jim Day, Jeff Pecora tomorrow night 6:30 with Reds Live. First pitch at 7:10. Everybody hoping, of course, if you're rooting for the Reds, that it'll be the rubber game of the 3-game series, and the Reds will start the day 3 games ahead of Pittsburgh, and who knows, maybe 4 games ahead of St. Louis.
Second time through the lineup, he started both hitters with changeups.
Neil Walker, a strikeout victim his first time. Johnny has not walked a batter. He has struck out 3. That last start he made against Pittsburgh on May the 30th, he was matched up against last night's Pirate winner A.J. Burnett, and boy, you talk about a pitching duel. Both of them threw very, very well. 2-1 game, Pittsburgh.
Well, the Reds were winning that ball game 1-0 for quite a while, and a mistake by Cueto late cost him.
Yeah, that was in the 6th inning. First 2 had grounded out, a walk, a hit, and then a big 2-run double to right center by Matt Haig.
And it ended up being a hanging breaking ball to Haig. And if you look at the way that Matt Haig swings the bat, very rarely does he hit the ball to the left side of the infield. Everything is right field or right center. And he's a right-handed batter.
Walker, a 300-plus hitter both this year and lifetime against Reds pitching. Has not had much luck against Johnny Cueto. His strikeout his first time up now puts him 3 for 21 lifetime against the Reds ace. That ball rolls right by the first base coach of the Pirates down there, Luis Silverio. Nick Leyva is their third base coach. Andrew McCutcheon waits on deck.
Nick Leyva. I've known him for a long time.
Worked for a lot of teams, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He's got a lot of baseball knowledge in between those ears.
Phillips to his right. And he throws out his counterpart for the first out here in the top of the 4th. So that is 10 in a row after the leadoff single to right by Alex Presley, retired by Cueto.
Tell you what, these Pirates get down that line. I have yet to see any Pittsburgh Pirate hit a ball that was questionable in the infield that they didn't sprint down the first baseline.
6 ground ball outs now by Johnny Cueto. Well, you like to see that from him. Taking a look over the weekend at some of the not so frequently published numbers. The Reds going into the game last night had gotten fewer ground ball outs than any team in Major League Baseball. Fewer ground ball outs than any team in Major League Baseball. And that's alarming when you consider that they play in this ballpark where you really, really need the ball on the ground, Jeff.
Yeah, this is a pitcher's nightmare if you're a fly ball pitcher. And a lot of it, Jim, is just about location. It really doesn't matter in what kind of place that you're playing. If you make quality pitches and you change speeds and you hit your spots and you're not overthrowing and doing all the crazy things that come with trying to strike out every batter that walks up there, then you're going to be all right.
McCutchen draws the walk, first issued by Cueto, and the streak of 10 in a row ends.
Let's go back and look at the Mazda pitch sequence against Andrew McCutchen. First pitch is a sinking fastball in. Second was supposed to be away and ended up in. A breaking ball misses outside. And a fastball, he falls off and pulls it with him. And then that one, he just left up and in on the changeup.
So the double play is in order if they can get the ground ball off the bat of Garrett Jones.
Working quickly is great. You want your starter and any of your pitchers to work quick and throw strikes. But you don't want to work so quick that you forget about what you're doing. That was a heck of a pick right there by Cueto. And he almost had McCutchen.
10 out of 14 in terms of steals for McCutchen this year. That's tops on this Pirate team.
And the thing about Johnny's pick throw is it's usually right on the bag.
He has that quick movement home, so much so that opponents have not stolen a base against him this year. We've seen some slow moves here lately, but not from this guy.
Well, the reason you don't steal bases against Cueto is exactly what you said. He gets the ball to Hannigan in a hurry.
You talked about the stopwatch. Now, we just saw the stopwatch down at first base of Luis Silverio, the first base coach. You talked about it last night, the timing. He's got that stopwatch going down there.
When Cueto comes set, as he looks in for the sign, as soon as he comes set and he starts, you hit the go button. Got him.
They pick off Andrew McCutchen, who disagrees with Bill Welke, the first base umpire.
See, McCutchen thinks that's a balk. That's not a balk.
Clint Hurdle will argue as well. Here comes the manager of the Pirates momentarily into your picture. There he is. He'll talk with the veteran Bill Welke.
The only thing that Cueto does is he turns and hits the throw right on the money. And if you're thinking about going to second base, even if you pause for a moment, and that's what got McCutchen there. He paused for a moment, and he could not get his hand back to that outside corner. Deader than a doornail.
What did he see there, Cowboy, that made McCutchen believe that Cueto balked? Or that's what you had mentioned.
Well, I think what most managers will say, or base runners will say, is that he's breaking the back knee before he throws to first base. I don't think that's what happens with Cueto. I think it's a turn and a snap throw, and the bottom line is you just got beat.
He definitely steps toward first. That's
all you have to do. All you have to do is step to the base that you're throwing to.
A lot of times you'll see that ball call because they just spin with the upper body, don't move the feet. Johnny didn't do that.
Well, Johnny has moved his feet. There have been many times where he's been questioned. His move is right on the money. And the reason is it's because he works on it.
He's flat out quick, isn't he?
He's quick and he works on it. We just saw his quick feet getting to a high hopper baseball and throwing out a very fast runner. And he's got quick feet on the mound as well in the pickoff move. That's what makes it. Quick feet, snap throw, and perfect target.
Phillips backhand. Phillips gives it to Cozart. Almost tried the old 4-6-3 right there. Garrett Jones is on. That'll be an infield hit. Heads up by Brandon, thinking, well, I'm not going to get him.
Well,
maybe Cozart can help.
Because of how far Phillips slid once he caught the baseball, he couldn't get himself up, so he just flips it on to Cozart, hoping he could take care of it. And you could see how far Phillips had to slide there after he made the catch. If he had stayed on the dirt, he would have been able to pop up and make the throw. But once you hit that grass, you take off on the slide.
You know, we're not in Paris, but he kind of looked like he was sliding on the clay of the French Open, which is going on right now. Haig with 2 men out. His base hit we talked about back on the 30th some week ago in Pittsburgh that gave the Pirates the 2-1 lead and the subsequent 2-1 win over Cueto and the Reds.
It's amazing that Cueto can move his feet that quickly and still be able to get the throw from his ear and snap throw the ball to first base and be on that good of a target range. I mean, that ball is right around the bag every single time.
Joel Lookup, our stat man, says 4 pickoffs now for Johnny Cueto, the most in the big leagues.
Normally that stat would belong to a left-handed pitcher, not right-handed.
Makes it even more extraordinary.
As we have said many times, baseball is a game of repetition. The more times that you practice your craft, the better off you're going to be, whether it's ground balls, swinging the bat, throwing the baseball, catching the baseball, or even as something as simple as a pickoff move.
Down on strikes goes Matt Haig. Strikeout number 4 for Johnny Cueto. There's the pickoff, number 4 of the year for Cueto. Takes care of McCutchen. Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile, and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Boy,
Nothing Reds. We go to the bottom of inning number 4.
You know when Joey Votto comes to the plate, because the fans let you know.
Joey trying to extend that hitting streak, which sits at 11 coming into this one. He's hit in 11 in a row, 13 of his last 14. Been on an incredible offensive tear as of late. And the streak continues. It's now at 12 games as he singles into left center field. to get the bottom of the fourth started.
Tries to get a fastball inside, and it is inside. As a matter of fact, that ball was so far inside it was in off the plate. It would have been a ball, and Votto able to take the bat and get the bat head to the ball and just flip it right over the shortstop Barmas's head.
Joey came in hitting .568 during his 11-game streak. And he's on to start the home fourth for the Reds. Hit number 3. Here's Phillips, his home run. Supplied the only run of this game thus far. That came back in the second. Votto draws the attention of Lincoln. Though he did steal a base last night. Cowboy with Brad Lincoln having made 6 relief appearances since that start down in Miami. And here he is working in the fourth at 46 pitches. How deep will they go with him?
It's a cool night.
All right.
And he threw 80 pitches on the night in Miami, which was on the 14th.
3.5 weeks ago.
Yeah. And from the way that Clint Hurdle described it to me, it was just a flat-out gutsy performance. But the bottom line is being pitch efficient and not getting into any trouble. And that's going to be the difference for Lincoln tonight. If he doesn't get in any trouble, they may continue to go with him until he does.
And as we talked about earlier, starting is not something new to him. Really, the relief aspect of things is new. He made 86 appearances in the minor leagues, all starts.
Yeah, and he's 4-7 with a 5.38 earned run average as a starter in the big leagues. Not exactly the kind of numbers that you want to have. Those are the numbers that sent him to the bullpen to begin with. But this is not the same guy, at least to me, that I saw when he first came to the big league starting. He's pitching much better with a little bit more meaner demeanor.
Meaner demeanor
on the mound.
That was what, a couple years ago, 2010, I guess, when he made his big league debut.
He's getting after it a little bit.
There goes Votto, and a ball sliced in the right by Phillips. Brandon is 2 for 2. Votto turns the corner and he lights at third, and it's first and third with nobody out. That's a thing of beauty right there.
Perfect hit and run. I don't know that you can draw it up any better than that. Votto is on the break. Phillips takes the breaking ball and just slaps it right into right field. Neil Walker had moved to second base to cover the bag. You see Votto look in. The reason Votto looks in is because he knows it's a hit and run, and it's a good thing that he did. He almost got hit by the baseball.
Yeah, he did a little dipsy-do there to make sure it didn't clip him. Look out. So here's Bruce. Called out on strikes his first time. Golden opportunity here for the Reds to add to this 1-0 lead. Bruce lifetime 0 for 4 against this right-hander Lincoln. Sounded like he broke his bat there. He's at a ball and a strike, and indeed he did.
Chased the ball up and out of the strike zone, trying to drive it the other way. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And you're right, Jim. He caught it right off the end of the bat.
corners. Ball and 2 strikes on Bruce. Jay walked a couple of times last night. First time that's happened this year. Looking to come through big time here. He's sitting at 35 runs batted in, tied with Votto for the team lead. And Jay goes fishing for that one and strikes out, marking his 2nd consecutive strikeout in this game. So 1 out. Take a look now at our AT&T trivia question of the night. Who are the only 2 Reds amateur draft picks to be elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame? Only 2 Reds amateur draft picks to be elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Good question. The draft, of course, started in '65. I believe the first pick of the first draft ever was a broadcaster now. That's a secondary trivia question for you. Cowboy, anything over there?
I don't read as many books as you do.
Either the trivia question or the secondary trivia question?
I was busy playing.
You got nothing, huh? Well, now you know this guy. How if I give you one hint on the first ever draftee, 65? All right?
I'll take all the hints I can get.
He saved the American flag. Anything? On a baseball field. He's a good friend of yours. Reno now to Todd Frazier. Todd threw his bat at the ball. Got a base hit into right his first time. And he takes ball 4. He walks on 4 pitches, and now they're loaded with 1 out.
Now that at-bat there is exactly the type of at-bat that you have to put together with a pitcher on the mound that is trying to do nothing but strike you out. He's not trying to put the ball in a place where you can hit it. He's putting it just a little off the plate or just a little bit in. But if you're dead set on swinging at every pitch that he throws, you're going to strike out. And that's exactly what happened to the batter ahead of Frazier.
Meanwhile, Ray Searage goes to the mound, and the pitching coach of the Pirates will talk things over. Reds in the game last night stranded 11, including leaving the bases loaded in the 7th inning. They'd scored a run and had 2 on, nobody out in the 9th. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts, part of a 15 strikeout night last night. Trying to avoid that same fate here tonight, looking for something big from Ludwig.
Now you're to the point, if you're Brad Lincoln, you got to get the ball over the plate. And it does a little bit more for Ryan Ludwig, that he can kind of keyhole Lincoln, look for a ball in a certain area, and go after it. If it's not there, you don't swing.
Reds have 3 grand slams this year, one of them by Ludwig. In fact, it was the first against the Washington Nationals. That first road series of the year. Hammered into the alley in left center field. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. 3 runs are going to score. How about that? A base clearing 3-run double on the first pitch he sees by Ryan Ludwig, putting his RBI total at 24 and giving the Reds a 4-0 lead.
And that whole scenario was set up by the at-bat from Todd Frazier. If you're Lincoln, if you're Ludwig, all you're thinking is, I'm looking fastball, first pitch. If it's there, I'm going to hammer it. And that he did.
You've got to be impressed with his RBI total. As I mentioned, 24 for a guy whose batting average is sitting right around the 200 mark. Comes up with some big hits.
Yes, he does.
His 6th double of the year gives Johnny Cueto and the Reds a little breathing room. Now a 4-0 lead. To right by Hannigan. First pitch he sees. Ludwig being waved around. Jones throw not in time. 4-run inning. 5-0 Reds here in the 4th.
Fastball runs in. Hannigan fights it off just enough to get it into the outfield. And he doesn't hit it hard enough to where Jones has any chance of a play at home.
A very productive inning for the Reds here in the bottom of the 4th. Brings the 7th man of the inning to the plate, and Johnny Cueto. Strike 1 on the bunt attempt. Johnny does have 6 sacrifice bunts this year. That number puts him right amongst the league leaders in that department. Ludwig catching a breath down in the dugout after that big hit of his. Haig will field. Walker gets over to cover. That's a sacrifice. That's the 7th sacrifice of the year now for Johnny Cueto, and that puts him in a tie for 2nd place in the league behind Chris Capuano of the Dodgers, who has 9.
Well, Zach Cozart has seen nothing but breaking balls his first 2 at bats. See if he gets a fastball here, and if he does, let's hope he does something with it.
He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's popped up and grounded out. Bunt by Cueto, though, key, isn't it, Jeff? It moves that runner into scoring position.
I still go back to the at bat by Frazier, and he put Lincoln in a major hole. Bases loaded, you have no room to wiggle.
That's the 4-pitch walk.
You got it. Instead of going up there and swinging at every pitch that came out of the hand of Lincoln, he showed a little patience. And for a youngster, that's awfully good. Now you're seeing Lincoln a little bit nippy on the ins and the outs of the plate. He's trying to nip a little bit on the outside, nip a little bit on the inside. He's done.
He walks Cozart, so the 9th Red of the inning will come to the plate. That's the 2nd walk by Lincoln. See Clint Hurdle and Ray Searage talking about it in the Pirate dugout. Just now there is some movement out in the Pirate pen, but as of yet, no one has been throwing.
I think they're trying to extend the innings of this kid as much as possible, but it is pretty obvious that he's out of gas.
He's thrown 65 pitches. A left-hander, Doug Slayton, up and throwing in the Pirate pen. Playable in foul ground for Haig. And the Pirates do get Lincoln through the inning, but the Reds score 4 in the frame and now lead 5-0 through 4.
With you just next to the Reds dugout. The Reds bullpen has been outstanding this year, and they're doing so without two guys that were penciled into the bullpen coming into the year, that being Nick Massett and Bill Bray. Nick Massett today throwing. He's been throwing over the last week, now up to 120 feet, just throwing, not pitching on flat ground. The next step would be, as Cowboy knows, pitching on flat ground. Then he'll go onto the mound and pitch, and he says he's a couple of weeks away, at least he hopes, from going on a rehab stint. So Nick Massett throwing without pain, making some progress, but again, still 2 or 3 weeks away probably from being in a Reds uniform if all goes well, guys.
All right, thank you, Jim, very much. Cowboy, it's got to be, from a guy like Massett's standpoint, the urge to try to quicken things up. How do you get away with that? How do you get by from doing that? Bobbled momentarily, but a strong arm and good adjustment by Votto retires Casey McGee for the first out of the 5th.
I think every player, whether you're a position player or whether you're a pitcher, you want to get back on the field as soon as possible. But the Reds have the luxury of having depth both in the starting. They have depth everywhere right now, and they're in a position where they don't have to rush Nick Massett or Bill Bray back. And with that being the case, you're really allowing a guy that is a key in the future for you to take his time and get himself ready to go.
In terms of Bray, I know we heard the other day that he actually threw an inning in a extended spring game. So he is ahead clearly of Nick in terms of coming back.
Well, watching Nick Massett throw just in that video there, seeing him get up on top of the baseball and get full extension out in front of himself, that's a beautiful sign to see. Because once you can get to the point where you can cut it loose on flat ground and you don't think about it in your head, you can see him kind of doing his arm out and kind of feeling, all right, let me see if I can make it hurt. Well, once you get past that point, then you can move in a hurry.
Well, it's good to see him in the dugout, and it'll be even better once we see him in a jersey and out in that bullpen area. Appeal denied by Bill Welke. 1-2 to Barajas. Grounded out his first time. Big 4 spot in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Reds lead 5-0 in this game, trying to snap that 2-game losing streak. Hanging pitch there, hammered toward left center. Heisey up against the wall, and he came down with a baseball. Chris Heisey robs Barajas of extra bases. He's flashing leather out there like he's Drew Stubbs.
That, my friends, is a big-time play. No fear of the wall. The leap timed perfectly and straight into the face plant of the screen.
You know, when you're a youngster, you have your friend throw the ball up against the wall, and you practice doing that to try to make the fantastic catch. And here's Heisey doing it in a big league game.
And what Clint Hurdle wants to know here is, did the ball not only hit in the glove of Heisey, but did it touch the wall as well?
Well, it's not a reviewable
and
play.
He can sit and argue all day long because it's not going to matter. The ball is in the glove. You can see the ball turn the other way. That ball never touched the wall.
It's a great replay right there. Heisey clearly had the leather between the wall and the ball, came down with it. Clint Hurdle argued earlier with Bill Welke at first, now discussing it with Tim Cheetah, the crew chief, at third. But as you said, he can argue all he wants. That's not a reviewable play.
Well, you could tell that the way that Heisey went after the ball, he got a chance to turn his glove all the way backwards, a backhanded catch into the wall. And after that, it was just a matter of coming down with it, which he did. That was a heck of a play.
You saw his reaction talking about Cueto after Heisey made that catch. He was elated. Looking for his third perfect inning of the night if he can dispose here of Clint Barmas. Popped up his first time.
Those are the kinds of plays that you need every once in a while as a pitcher. And what it does is it just reinvigorates you on the mound. You hang a pitch and it's right up, and the guy smashes it right up against the wall.
Foul ball.
And you see this Reds defense. They are not afraid to run into the wall, to dive for the baseball. This is a tough playing defensive ball club.
Really, for the last 3 years, they've been right near the top of the National League in terms of defense. Came into this series third in the National League.
You can see how much Clint Barmas likes that fastball. That's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball sinking down and in, and he pulls it into the netting of the third base dugout. He ain't hitting that one.
He gets him on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Perfect fifth inning, highlighted by this great defensive play by Chris Heisey. Cap didn't help him tonight. How about number 5, Johnny Bench and Barry Larkin? So one Hall of Famer already in, the other will go in July. Barry Larkin, Bench, and Larkin. The answer to the question, and the answer to the sub question. First player ever drafted.
Billy
65.
Tuesday. Billy Tuesday, right?
Or Rick Monday.
Oh, that's it.
One of the two.
I knew it was something to do with the week.
New shortstop is Cincinnati's own Josh Harrison. As the Pirates make a double switch, he'll bat 9th or be the leadoff man in the 6th inning. And the new pitcher, Cowboys, Doug Slayton.
Doug Slayton. This will be his 4th appearance. And walked 3 batters, but had a scoreless inning in the last time he was out. And he has yet to give up a run.
Votto pulled that outside pitch. Rare do you see him do that. He goes out 4-3.
And I would imagine that's more of a factor, being that Slayton is a new pitcher to him.
Joey 1 for 3 in this game. Brad Lincoln goes 4, allows 5 runs, all earned, 6 hits, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. His other start back in mid-May, a successful one against Miami. Not so tonight. Phillips been offering at the first pitch the last couple of times up. Flies this ball to shallow left, and just like that, there are 2 outs. Hey, Reds fans, come down to the Holy Grail on Friday, starting at 6 for the Reds Fan Can. You could be featured on Reds Live by testing your Reds knowledge and winning some great prizes. Be part of the fun. That's Friday at 6 at the Holy Grail. Put that in your daytime. Two quick outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Reds trying to add on to a 5-0 lead. They about hit the Pirates 6-2. Bruce, who has struck out twice, bats against the lefty. Towards center, and that'll fall. A base hit for Jay. 7th hit of the game for the Reds. Bruce is on with 2 outs.
Jay continuing to stay with that approach, even though he was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, still trying to drive the ball the other way. Slider, middle in, and Jay stays back long enough to get the ball right into left center field.
Well, Slayton will deal now with Todd Frazier, who's been on twice, a hit, a walk. He scored a run. One in the second, a homer by Phillips. 4 in the bottom of the 4th. The key hit, the 3-run double by Ryan Ludwig. And then an RBI single by Hannigan. A 5-0 Reds lead here in the bottom of number 5.
Nice stop.
Cowboy, we talked about in the open of needing Johnny Cueto to be the stopper on this club, as to not extend the losing streak. And not only have they gotten that from him, they've gotten some offense tonight.
Well, I think anytime that Cueto takes them out, even with the bumpy road that he's had in the last 4 starts, good, bad, I think everybody on this club knows that when Cueto takes the mound, there's an awfully good chance that you're going to win the ball game. And the reason being, Cueto is not going to give up a whole lot of runs. And I think that kind of attitude, when you bring it to the ballpark every day, that's what you want out of your ball club. If you're the manager, you want every pitcher that takes the mound, for everybody on your team to know they got a chance to win on that given day.
That one right off the glove of Barajas going to allow Bruce to head on down to second.
Made a great play on a breaking ball that bounced in front of home plate, and then a pass ball there that hit right off the top of his mitt.
So a hit by Frazier now could add to the lead. Well, you had talked about in the open the last 4 starts by Johnny and how they had not all gone overly well. A +5 ERA. You have to admit, you kind of get spoiled. His first 7, an ERA of 1.12. You come to expect that kind of thing, don't you? High and deep by Frazier, but that'll stay in the ballpark as the left fielder Presley hauls it in. It sounded better off the bat than it turned out to be. The Reds do not add to the lead here in the 5th.
Long far one right off the bat of Brandon Phillips. That got the run started, and then a double clearing the bases after a 4-pitch walk to Todd Frazier, and Ryan Hannigan says, let me get in on the fun. Johnny Cueto says, thank you very much. I like it when you get me 5 runs.
Now he hits the leadoff man here, Josh Harrison, to start the 6th inning. Johnny right amongst the league leaders in hit batsmen. That's the 6th that he has hit this year. He doesn't allow you to take ownership of the inside part of the plate on him, does he? So Harrison is on.
If you don't get out of the way, you're going to get smoked. And if you have one of those little pads on your elbow, it's almost as though it's radar for Cueto.
And that now does indeed tie him for first place in hit batsmen this year.
And that's not a bad thing.
With Paul Maholm, the former Pirate, now with the Cubs. Johnny's allowed no runs, 2 hits. Walk 1. He has struck out 5. Pitching standpoint, in command in this game.
Presley really likes that ball on the inside part of the plate. You stay right out there, send him right back to where he came from. Anything middle in, he can hit. Down and away, that's a different story.
Triple and a home run last night. In fact, that triple he hit in the 3rd inning snapped an 0 for 16 for him, that carried back to when he had been here back in early May before being sent down.
Both of those pitches that he hit last night were middle in. So far in this at bat, they're keeping the ball down and away from the left-handed hitting Presley. If you come in, it's got to be bouncing in the dirt.
Runner going.
See ya.
Nice pick by Phillips to get that ball on the short hop and put the tag on Harrison. That was nicely done by the Gold Glover.
You'll see this more times than not. A speedster gets hit, and he says, well, I'm just going to steal the base. Well, it's kind of hard to do when you got a guy with a release like Cueto and a guy that has a couple of Gold Gloves in his back pocket. He snatched that out of the dirt like it was nothing.
I mean, that may look easy, but it is not at all. Now ranging to his left. He gets the speedy runner at first base, Presley, for out number 2. Tonight's Powerball jackpot worth $177 million. Drawing is at 11. A little over 2 hours from now.
Well, you're right, Jim. That may look like it's an easy catch by Phillips. It's about as hard as it gets, especially bouncing between the grass and that dirt there in front of second base. And to spin around in pirouette style and make the tag. You catch it, you spin, you make the tag.
Harrison had that look on his face like,
how'd you do that?
How did you do that? You kidding me? The Reds indeed have flashed some leather tonight. Phillips a couple of times. Heisey out in center. Made some plays. Votto at first. All in support of Cueto. And a 5-0 Reds lead.
High fastball, and you swing right through it, and Cueto comes back and takes about 12 miles an hour off the pitch. Fastball up, changeup down and away. Not only did he change the eye level, change the velocity of the pitch. Close.
And then had that late movement on it, right back over the inside part of the plate, but did not get the call from Mike Muchlinski. Into right, and a hit for Neil Walker. Only the 3rd Pirate hit of the night.
That was a changeup there, and it got just a little bit too much of the plate, and it was a little bit higher than the changeup that he fouled off to the left side. See where this pitch is? It's in the heart of the plate, and it's got a little bit of elevation. That pitch is just above the catcher's mitt.
So Walker, who's been hitting the ball pretty well as of late, is on with 2 out for Andrew McCutchen. He has struck out, walked, and was subsequently picked off in the 4th inning. He disagreed. Luis Silverio, the first base coach, disagreed. Clint Hurdle disagreed. And that was a superb pickoff move by Johnny Cueto to pick off McCutchen.
All right, Cueto right now has got to get his wits back about him, get back behind the mound, take a deep breath, and get back under control. You don't want to start letting things slip away at this point. He's been awfully good.
Approaching 90 pitches now. He's at 86. Bruce chases. He'll get there on the track right in front of the Pirate bullpen. And Johnny has a 4-batter 6th, and the lead still intact going to the bottom half. Ballpark for Hall of Fame induction night. Arrive early for a pregame on-field induction ceremony. Plus, the first 25,000 fans through the gates receive a Sean Casey bobblehead thanks to PNC Bank. Then cheer on your Reds when they take on the Twins. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com. 5-7-0 Cincinnati. 0-3-0 Pittsburgh. Reds have stranded 4. Pirates 3. Saw Johnny in the dugout with the batting helmet on. He'll bat third in this inning. Ludwig leads it off. He has the big offensive blow of this game thus far. Came against the starter Brad Lincoln. After a hit by Votto, a hit by Phillips. Strikeout of Bruce and a walk to Frazier. Ludwig cleared them all with a double to the alley in left center. Back to the hill. And the first out of the home sixth. Again, a reminder about tomorrow night. Final game of this 3-game series against the Pirates will pit Mike Leake, the right-hander, at 2-5, against the righty Kevin Correa, also at 2-5. Game at 7:10. 6:30 with Reds Live here in Fox Sports Ohio. Leake picked up his second victory his last time out in a very impressive start Friday night down at Houston. Gave him the lead early, and he outpitched Jay Happ in that game. Hannigan 1 for 2. Followed the Ludwig 3-run double with a single into right, giving him his 6th RBI.
Continue to add on. This is going to be one of those ball games when you look at it statistically. It will be a game that the Reds won via the home because they had a home run in it, or it will go down in that statistical category.
Right.
But this game was stretched out of reach by that 4-run 4th inning. And you'd like to believe that the Reds will be able to add to that.
Walk to Hannigan, the 3rd given to the Reds tonight. Well, after every Reds game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks it all down. Talk to the skipper, Dusty Baker, and some of the players. That's Reds Live postgame, brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Reds hang on and win. Jeff Pecoro have an interview down on the field. Here's Cueto, sacrifice bunt his last time, and a foul ball bunt here this time. Fielded by Haig. Wide throw and out at first base. Johnny was not hustling down the line, but what he really wanted to do was just get that runner over, and he was going to do that anyway.
Now that's exactly what Johnny is told to do. Just get the bunt down, save your legs, so we can get you out there for another inning. He got the bunt down. If they can't make a play from halfway between first and home plate, well, that's part of it.
Second sacrifice of the game for Johnny Cueto, and now 8 of them on the year. Hannigan in scoring position for Kozak. Solid shot there, but McCutcheon gets to the spot and handles it. So the Reds leave their fourth base runner of the game. Still up 5-0. That series presented by the Ohio Lottery. Wednesday the 13th, arrive early and be one of the first 10,000 fans through the gates. You'll receive a Brandon Phillips Louisville Slugger Silver Slugger mini bat. For tickets to see the Reds and the Indians here at GABP the 14th, 12th through the 14th of June, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or go to Reds.com. Your riverboats slowly drifting down the Ohio. Takes you back to another time, doesn't it?
I wonder what they do if one of them speeds up and rams the other one.
It's not bumper boats out there. No.
Oh.
Not bumper cars. They ended up doing that. They probably gouge a hole in the other one. That wouldn't be a good thing.
It would be a sinker.
Cueto trying to get through the seventh here. He's done that 7 times in his 11 starts this year. That is to say, pitch through the 7th. That's impressive. Two starts against the Pirates this year. He had that complete game effort back on the 4th of May in Pittsburgh in the 6-1 win, and then last time out 30th of May at Pittsburgh, 7 innings and a 2-1 win, pardon me, and a 2-1 loss, working in the 7th here.
And you see where the location of his pitches are. They are down, 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 unless sometimes against this batter only he'll elevate the fastball and try to get him to swing and miss. But for the most part, he has been down in the strike zone with both the fastball, the slider, and the changeup. And when Johnny's down there, that usually means winning baseball for the Reds.
Play for Ludwig. 1 out in the 7th.
And you can see the fox tracks of the pitches to Garrett Jones right before he pops that ball out into left field. The lone pitch that was away from that down and away spot was up and in, like right around the top of the hand area. That just keeps a hitter from diving out over the plate.
First pitch swinging, Matt Haig will try Heisey.
Thank you very much.
2 out. 3 straight fly ball outs off of deliveries of Cueto, but by and large he's been a ground ball guy tonight.
I think now the reason that you're seeing more balls going into the air, Cueto has gotten them out in front. They're getting the bat head to the baseball, but they're making contact as the ball is on the upswing. These are just routine fly balls, not anything that's hit with authority.
Johnny's sitting at 94 pitches, trying to get through the 7th here in support of a 5-0 Reds lead. Looking to get back on the winning way, looking for their 31st victory of the year, looking to push this Pirate club back to 3 games off the pace. Cardinals, by the way, are leading 4-0 at Houston. That game is in the 3rd. Houston won last night 9-8. There's that line score. Look at the Astros. No hits yet, but it's early. Starting pitchers in that game tonight: Adam Wainwright and Bud Norris. Bud Norris not in this game tonight. Right-hander Jared Hughes throwing in the Pirate bullpen. A 3-1 offering. Two out and nobody on. Casey McGee tonight grounded out twice. Drive to right, but Bruce will get it. Each of the outfielders gets a put out here in the 7th, and it is stretch time in Cincinnati. For home field advantage in the Fall Classic, the road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game. That comes up on Tuesday, July the 10th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Fox.
Vote Reds.
Yeah, last night we showed you the graphic. Joey Votto leads in first baseman. Phillips is second at second baseman. Bruce needs some boost out there in the outfield right now. Doug Slayton back to the mound. He'll work his 3rd inning in relief of the starter Brad Lincoln. Without one base runner in the 5th, one base runner in the 6th, but no runs thus far. Chris is 0 for 3. On an 0-1 pitch, this is a pop-up, and Neil Walker will handle it for out number 1.
Hey, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. That's JTM. Boy, Heisey's having a tough time with that ball down and away tonight. He's had some pretty decent pitches to hit and just pulling off of them just a little bit.
Well, he figures to get, doesn't need a bulk of that playing time in center while Stubbs is recuperating from that mild muscle strain, which we hope will not shelve him, meaning going to the DL. It has not yet. It occurred last night late in the game. Again, if you missed it earlier, the Reds did make a roster move prior to the game tonight, calling up Christopher Negron from AAA Louisville and sending Mike Costanzo back to the AAA club. There's Christopher. He's hitting .212 with 5 home runs, 16 RBIs with Louisville. He was a 7th-round pick by the Boston Red Sox back in 2006 and became a Red with a trade with the Red Sox in August of 2009 when Alex Gonzalez, you recall, was sent from the Reds to the Red Sox. Negron came over as part of that deal. Joey has already extended the hitting streak tonight. Single back in the 4th inning means he's hitting a dozen in a row. In case you're wondering, his career best 14 in a row back in 2009, so he could conceivably tie that mark in the first game of the Tiger series Friday night.
I think Joey was sitting on that pitch, sitting on the slow breaking ball at 3-1, and he got the pitch he wanted. You could see him gear up for it. Look at that face. Oh, I can't believe I missed that. It was just a little bit, it hung just a little bit inside. Otherwise, you could have put that one on the riverboat.
Swing and a miss there, and Joey down on strikes. Out number 2 here in the home 7th. Batter will be Phillips. Nice night tonight for Brandon. 2 for 3 with the home run. He was one of the 3 on base in that 4th inning when Ludwig cleared the bases with his double to left center. First pitch swinging, smash to 3rd, but McGee handles it, and the Reds go in order for the 3rd time in this game, so we'll progress to inning number 8. Reds still in front. Children's in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2011 Best Children's Hospitals. And by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. Totals in this game right there.
Johnny Cueto comes back out for his 8th inning of work, but as he does, the Reds begin bullpen activity with Sean Marshall throwing down in the pen. And I would imagine, good, bad, or ugly, this will be the last inning for Johnny Cueto.
Sitting at 101 pitches. The scoreboard here says 100, but we've been told and confirmed it's 101, so it's 1 pitch behind. This marks only the 3rd time this year that Cueto has gone to the mound in the 8th. He did it that start at Pittsburgh back on May the 4th, and then he did it at New York against the Yankees on the 20th, but did not get an out in the 8th. He's rebounded very nicely tonight.
Well, I think the big key is just getting the mechanics back in order and get Johnny going back in the right direction.
That ball's going to get down and go to the wall. Heisey will get it back in. That's a 2-base hit for Rod Barajas. He was the man robbed of extra bases the last time by Heisey up against the wall near the 379 mark out in left center. He gets the double the other way this time.
That pitch is supposed to be in, and it ends up all the way on the other side of the plate.
Pedro Alvarez out of the dugout. He will pinch hit for Slayton, who went 3 innings, allowed no runs and 1 hit. We have not seen Alvarez yet in this series. He comes off the bench, riding an 0 for 18.
And I don't think Dusty Baker is going to sit around a whole long time in case something happens here in the order of a base hit or a run scored.
Marshall in the pen again. We saw him earlier. Alvarez hitting 194, 8 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Into right field, and that's a hit. They will hold the runner as Bruce comes up cleanly with the ball. Pedro Alvarez breaks an 0 for 18 streak with a pinch hit single.
I think he broke his bat as well. That ball did not sound as though it was hit very well at all. Right in on the knuckles, and he rolls it just in a perfect spot where neither Phillips nor Votto could get to it.
Josh Harrison bats with 2 on and no one out. 5-0 Reds, 8th inning. Now right-hander Logan Ondrusek has gotten up, has joined Marshall in the bullpen. 1 out.
And that may be all she wrote for Johnny there. Left-handed Presley coming up, the switch hitter Walker.
Dusty makes his way to the mound in a 5-0 game with 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Jeff alluded to a lefty Presley, switch hitter Walker. The next 2 due up. No signal yet. Wait out Mike Muchlinski here, the home plate umpire. Here he comes. Now Dusty will leave him in there. He have an open mind when he went out there, Cowboy?
Well, I think so. I mean, Cueto's your #1 guy. But you've also got a guy at the plate in Alex Presley that doubling him up would take an awfully hard hit baseball. we've seen what happens when you stay on the inside part of the plate with Presley. He's got the power to hit the ball out of here. We saw him do it in a pinch hit roll at PNC. Keep it away from him. Nice changeup. 2-0 changeup right on the outside corner. You can see the hands of Presley start to come, and I want to swing at that thing.
Johnny fell behind 2-0. Now evens the count at 2-2.
Johnny had a little extra on that one. 94-mile-an-hour heater after that 82-mile-an-hour changeup. Now you got to put him away. Like that.
Nicely done by Cueto right there.
Boy, that is some big-time pitching. 2-0 all the way back to this. Bam.
6 of them now for Cueto.
When the manager comes out and says, "You all right? Can you get this guy?" and you nod your head and say, "Yeah," and you do that, that's why you get to stay out there when the manager comes out next time and the time after that. One more big out right here.
Neil Walker with runners at the corners and 2 gone. They were there with nobody out. Now they're there with 2 out. Walker tonight 1 for 3. A base hit his last time. Andrew McCutchen waiting on deck. Now he's a pitch away from loading the bases here in the 8th. And a runner at third base, Barajas. That's the first runner they've even had as far as second base tonight. Now he's over at third.
No, the one thing that you would like to make happen here if you're Johnny Cueto is make Neil Walker hit a pitch that's down and away. Make him make contact on a pitch that's down and away from him. Not something that he can drive, but something that he has to swing at.
And he does into left. The shutout is gone. Barajas will score. Pirates on the board. It's now 5-1. And here comes Dusty, and that's going to be all for Johnny Cueto.
Well, Cueto did exactly what he should have done, and that's make Walker make contact. That ball could have been to the shortstop or the third baseman, but instead it clears the hole. They're going to find it that way sometimes. He did a heck of a job tonight.
And he gets a great round of applause. In fact, a standing O from the crowd in excess of 22,000 here at Great American Ballpark tonight, leaving in the 8th with 2 out. And a 5-1 Reds lead. Into the game comes Logan Ondrusek, our Skyline Chili, called to the bullpen.
Heck of a ball game by Cueto. He leaves runners at first and second base. And you see the line there. Outstanding pitching performance. And as Ondrusek comes on, 3-1 on the year with a 2.35 earned run average. This will be his 27th ball game for Ondrusek. And Ondrusek, he does not allow inherited runners to score.
Yeah, that's really an impressive number, isn't it?
Out of the 20 runners that he has come into the ball game and that have been on base, only one has crossed home plate.
Tries to get McCutchen here, put an end to this 8th inning. Hits that ball well. Heisey and Bruce will look up, and that is a home run for Andrew McCutchen with 2 aboard, and it's now a 1-run game. Andrew McCutchen hits his 10th of the year with Walker and Alvarez on, and the Pirates have put a 4 spot up here in the 8th.
A high fastball, and it is right in the heart of the plate, and McCutchen does exactly what you're supposed to do with that. Hammer it. First fastball was out there. Second fastball about the same height, the same speed, and it ends up in the seats.
Dusty Baker quickly back to the mound. Left-hander Garrett Jones due up. And the lefty Sean Marshall will enter the game. All of a sudden, we've got a barn burner again. baseball's greatest legends. After this Sunday's game, it's Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Famer Ralph Kiner. Boys in the Hall, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat.
Well, the left-hander Marshall will face the right-handed hitting Jose Tabata. New pitcher, new batter.
Second pinch hitter of the inning used by Clint Hurdle. Tabata hitting .220, a couple of homers, 9 runs batted in. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter this year.
Sean Marshall has not allowed a hit in any of his last 8 appearances.
Reds trying to get the final out here in the top of the 8th. Double by Barajas, single, the pinch hit variety by Pedro Alvarez. Then the line out by Harrison. The visit to the mound by Dusty Baker. The excellent job done against Alex Presley with the called third strike meant first and third with 2 out. Neil Walker did a good job of hitting the ball to left, avoiding the Pirates shutout. Dusty came out to get Johnny, brought in Logan Ondrusek. Logan left the fastball up, and McCutchen knows what to do with it.
Where is the breaking ball? That's what you've got to be wondering in that situation. You get ahead 0-1, and the very next pitch is the same pitch that you threw previously, except it was right down the heart of the plate. Tabata, one of those type of right-handed hitters, really likes to shoot the ball the other way.
Reds in their 8th will have Bruce, Frazier, and Ludwig against a new Pirate pitcher. Couple of right-handers, Jared Hughes, and now joined by Jason Grilli in the Pirate pen.
Well, what has been a strength for this Reds club all year long, you're starting to see a little wavering here over the last few weeks.
Toward the middle and cut off by Cozart. And he got him at first. Heck of a play by the rookie. Puts an end to the top of the 8th inning. The Pirates get 4. The lead still intact. Cozart ends it with that play.
New pitcher for the Pirates will be Jared Hughes. Hughes comes on, a right-hander, 1-0 on the year. This will be his 21st appearance, a 2.08 earned run average. Hard sinking fastball. Reds turned him up a little bit the last time they faced him, but the Reds are about the only team that has put the bats to this young man.
Yeah, he's done a good job in terms of getting outs, and boy, that's really what Doug Slayton did. He kept this Pirate team within striking distance.
Doug Slayton right now for the Pirates has been the MVP, even though the home run was hit by McCutchen. If Slayton doesn't keep the game scoreless from the Reds' point of view, that home run means nothing.
Tabata stays in right. Bruce smash, and it's knocked down by Walker, and Walker makes the play to first to retire Jay Bruce. Showing a little Brandon Phillips leather out there. Neil Walker.
Ball hit so hard it spun him around after it hit in the glove. One hopper, look at the top spin. Spins around Walker. He gets it up off the ground. Doesn't panic. Makes a perfect strike throw.
Here's Frazier. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And outing Cowboys talking about regarding this right-hander Hughes against the Reds occurred on the 29th over there in Pittsburgh. He allowed 3 runs, 5 hits in 1 inning. His worst outing of the year. Rarely do we see or have seen a shift against Frazier, but look at the Pirates defensively.
Over a period of time, you start to create tendencies of where you hit the baseball. And not only the Pirates, but every other team. If you pull the ball every time it comes off that piece of wood in your hand, they're going to shift you around and put more people on the other side.
That's what they have now. 3 infielders on the left side. Neil Walker just to the shortstop side of second base. Their second baseman. Frazier draws his second walk of the night and on base for the 3rd time. Follow the Reds with your MLB.com @BAT12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details.
Well, you'd like to see the Reds get one of those runs back that the Pirates put on the board there in the 8th. At least an insurance run going into the 9th.
Big blow offensively of this game for the Reds came from this man, Ludwig.
Right after that 4-pitch walk to Frazier, loaded the bases. Ludwig's thinking, boy, he's got to throw me a fastball here. He doesn't want to get behind in the count. And he crushed it into left center field, scored them all.
Runner going as they throw to first and safe at second base. Well, how about that?
Well, the Reds have seen it on their part, and you can see Todd Frazier just takes off. And there was no play at all for Matt Haig at second base.
Yeah, the first thought that goes through your mind is if Hughes steps off there and throws to second, they've got a shot. Leads you to believe that he was not really reading Frazier at all.
Not even paying attention to him over there. We've seen that happen a couple of times to Reds pitchers. You get so locked in to the batter at home plate. All of a sudden, the guy at first base takes off for second.
First steal of the year for Frazier, and only his second in the big leagues. He had one last year.
And
now a little old hit gets a run back.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The best part about that is you give Ludwig or Ryan Hanigan an opportunity to drive in a run. And probably the biggest thing is you take away the ground ball double play. The double play is no longer in order. Now he's going to pay a little attention to it. I don't think he's going to steal third, big boy.
Got him to chase, and Ludwig a strikeout victim. Second out of the inning.
A high slider, not a lot of depth to it. The ball just breaks from right to left. Almost a frisbee type of slider.
Now in order to get Frazier home, Hanigan needs to come through. He's 1 for 2. RBI single, back in that 4-run fourth. Walked his last time.
Well, Jared Hughes is using a lot of breaking balls tonight. Did with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, just slider after slider.
Reds tonight 2 for 7. 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
Good sinking fastball there at 93 miles an hour, and Rod Barajas going out to the mound, talking to the youngster to make sure that they are on the same page as to where Barajas wants this next pitch. Because for a hitter like Hanigan that likes to drive the ball the other way, you throw that frisbee type slider in there around 83 or 84, that's a strike. That's the one pitch that Hanigan can tattoo. Not that he can't hit any other ones, but that one makes it even better for him.
Let's see if the Reds catcher can get it done here. Runner at second, 2 out. 5-4 Reds, bottom of the 8th.
Threw the slider there, and Hanigan, it's almost as if he was looking for it. Tabeda's got a pretty good arm out there in right field now.
Putting it mildly. The guy can flat out throw.
That's a lot of times where Hanigan hits the baseball. His first hit tonight came that way, or his only hit tonight came that way. But that's when Garrett Jones was in the ballgame.
And there's no comparison between those two arms.
No, sir.
You saw Cairo waiting on deck. Hannigan stays alive. That foul ball into the crowd, which numbers 16,859 paid tonight, with another 5,800 kids' glove tickets distributed for tonight's game. So a total in the house of 22,659. Hughes against Hannigan, bottom of the 8th. Big run if the Reds can get it home. Out at second base, and Frazier. Hit well, but Tabata is going to get it onto the warning track, and we will go to the 9th inning with Aroldis Chapman trying to save this game. 5-4 Redlegs. By Miller Lite. It occurred in the 4th inning. That big hit by Ryan Ludwig cleared the bases. Votto, Phillips, Frazier all touched home. Reds at the time, after that hit, 4-0. Then get another run and make it 5-0. Big night for Ludwig. Our Miller time moment of the night. There's Wilson Valdez as part of a double switch. He takes over at third for Frazier. And the new pitcher is Chapman.
Aroldis Chapman, check out the numbers. 50 strikeouts, 28 innings. He's only walked 9. He has saved 5 of 6 opportunities, but the one blown save was not anywhere near the 9th inning. That was credited to him in a blown save in the 7th inning.
Yeah, that was in New York against the Mets.
And Chapman will come on looking for 3 quick outs. And hopefully the Reds can put this one down and take a deep breath.
He was dynamite in the games he appeared in down in Houston. Pitched 2 innings, had 6 strikeouts. Here he goes against Matt Haig to get the 9th started. Strike 1.
And you'll see these hitters, whether they're from the Pirates or wherever it may be, if they know Chapman's throwing strikes, they'll start to swing. And you can see the start of Haig's swing there.
Broken back to Valdez. And out number 1 here in the ninth.
Why is it, Jim, that you put a new guy in the game and the ball finds him right away?
That's called the
what is that called?
The old rule of baseball. It's called
Rick Monday. We gotta save that flag.
Save. From the law of averages right there.
There you go.
Mike Shannon would say old Abner has done it again.
Woo! Amos Moses out of Louisiana Bayou.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was straight petrol. Do it again. We're going in swing.
Triple digits.
I'm not sure that Casey McGee saw that last one. Or that one.
Another triple digit. And down goes McGee on 3 pitches. Quickly back to the dugout, bat in hand.
Tap that foot, cock that hip. See ya. And we're talking right on the outside corner. That's money.
The 2 out for Barajas. Reds an out away from picking up victory number 31.
And Barajas will be swinging for the downs.
Chapman trying to extend his already Reds franchise record for most appearances without an earned run to begin the season. He's at 23 now. The old record, John Hudek at 19.
I'll tell you this, Jim, there is nothing better than being on the mound and having everybody in the stadium standing and cheering for you to put away that final pitch. It makes your skin crawl.
You would certainly know the feeling, my friend. Got it. He throws 9 pitches in the inning, 8 strikes. Chapman gets his 6th save, and the crowd on its feet throughout that last AB of Rod Barajas. They cheer on Chapman and the Reds as they even this series add a game apiece with this victory over the Pirates by the final score of 5-4. That is an adrenaline rush right there.
Oh, another inning where Chapman strikes out at least 2. He's making that a habit, and a good one at that.
Cueto the win, Chapman the save. We'll come back with more from Great American Ballpark after this. Reds a winner, 5-4.